Hey Warhawks, this is Colonel Wilson again. It is Freeform Friday. We are in Season 2, Episode 9. As always, have our wingman here, our command chief from the 37th Training Wing, Chief Mike Morgan. Chief, welcome back.
Thanks, sir.
Good to be back in Freeform Friday style. We, as everybody will see, we are trying to do this a little bit more manicured and have the audio a little bit better. So hopefully it works out. Please give us your feedback after this session. As you can tell, we have a guest with us today, Dr. Kieran Dhillon, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Kieran Dhillon, who is an operational psychologist by trade, but also doing some other great things with us here in the 37th Training Wing. So, Doc, I just thought I'd let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, your family, and then what brought you to the 37th Training Wing, and we can talk about what you're doing going forward.
All right, well, thank you, sir. So Dr. Kieran Dhillon, I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I'm board certified in clinical psychology, and I did my postdoc in operational psychology. I'm originally from Southern California, and it was nice to grow up there, but it's nice to see all the new places that we get to see with moving around. I'm married, and my husband's in the Army, and
Cool.
Yep. Sometimes he wishes he joined the Air Force, but no, we have a great time with where our careers have taken us so far. So it's just he and I and our little pups, and yeah, that's
and so you are here, and we're going to talk about what you're doing now. But you've been here for a little while. What have you been up to up till this point within the 37th Training Wing, specifically Air Force Basic Military Training?
Yeah, so I got here in the summer of 2019 as the BMT psychologist, and just continued that mission of supporting our MTIs, which are our primary population. And we support them in their training, in their assessment selection, their ongoing support, their family support. And we also advise our leadership on organizational risk type issues, because that's a concern within BMT. And in the course of working with the families and supporting the MTI's health and well-being, that's how I think it led to me getting pulled up to the wing and supporting our efforts that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, kind of the full spectrum of BMT support, all the way from the recruitment, the selection process, all the way through making sure their resilience and their needs. It can be a high stress career field, and so just making sure they have the continued support. So it's good. We talk about our military training instructors, and we use the term selectively manned. They are selected. There is no guarantee. It is not a first come, first serve, and nor would anybody want it to be. And so Doc Dhillon is a big part of that process, to making sure that we are getting the best of the best, and those that are most equipped to handle the sons and daughters of our society are doing so. And so thank you so much for what you've done for us.
Okay.
But we are actually asking you to do something a little bit different. We are, for those that aren't aware, we are in the process of looking into an initiative to stand up a new human performance squadron within the 37th Training Wing. And human performance is based on a couple of different things. First and foremost is the performance, human performance, the performance and the operational benefit and the readiness of our airmen. And second is the resilience, and to making sure that they're physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually aligned to best accommodate our mission and our job. So we are working towards human performance and optimization. And so would you mind talking about that initiative, and so far what the progress we've made and some of the things, and we can kind of just have a conversation here as we go.
Sure. Well, one, I think it's really exciting what we're doing here at the 37th Training Wing, because I was just on the Total Force Fitness Summit that was held by USHS, the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences. That's a mouthful. And partners across DoD from all of those domains that you mentioned are all talking about what we're doing here, and how we need to get away from this siloed approach of looking at wellness and well-being and healthcare and integrate it all. A human being is an integrated whole, and when we look at problems in a siloed way, we're not getting after the underlying issues. And so what we're doing, there's so much focus of that across DoD right now. So there's a lot of support. And one of the key things that I think is unique about what we're doing here is we are setting up our effort first and foremost in a data-informed way. And I think that's what's different compared to what other resiliency programs have been doing in the past. Everyone it's clear, everyone is now looking at how do we demonstrate that these programs are actually effective. It's nice to have a physician or a psychologist or a chaplain in-house, but is what they're doing based on what the research says is effective, and are we able to measure how effective those efforts are? And since a lot of programs have not been gathering those metrics, have not been looking at those outcomes, that's what makes our program different.
So what we're trying to, and what we like to notionally say is we are trying to operationalize resilience here. And the way that we are doing it is by taking a collective of different AFSCs and resources, putting them all into one squadron with someone, a medical professional in this case, from the BSC Corps, a psychologist, that looks out for all things resilience across our force. Rather than the way that we've traditionally managed it across the Air Force, which is multifunctional teams that come together and try and solve problems, and then they go back into their own operational world.
Yes.
And so we have to bring them together and pull them apart, and bring them together and pull them apart.
Yes.
And our initiative here brings them together and then allows them to work and collaborate day in and day out under a single commander that then determines what data we're going to collect, what research we're going to do, whether we're going to focus on diet, whether we're going to focus on sleep, fitness, families, whatever the case may be, and then says we have limited resources here, but we're going to focus on the resilience and the performance of those individuals, and we're going to do it from a holistic perspective, and we're going to do it in a single organization.
It really allows us to be persistent in what we're trying to get after. You know, you've hit the nail on the head. What happens is, you know, everyone works in their clinic or works in their own section across base, and they have their primary mission, and then they come together and they try to work on things, and then they go back. Here, we're going to have continuity of effort, and we're going to be able to see that through. We're going to be able to persist with, you know, what we've identified that we need to improve, and stick with it. And now we'll have a legitimate way to be held accountable through our leadership.
That's right.
Yep.
Wow, I love the idea. Yeah. Obviously. So the concept here, it took me a little while to draw the linkage between performance and resilience. And maybe some others are out there, maybe they're having the same questions, like, well, how does increasing human performance lead to better resilience? And I think the answer is, if you build them faster, you build them stronger, you build them mentally tougher, then they will have more resilience, right? And so rather than looking at resilience on a reactive front, which is by and large what we've been doing for quite a while, human performance really looks at resilience on a proactive front. By building stronger airmen, we build more resilient airmen. By building stronger families, we build more resilient families, right? So it's exciting.
It is. You know, empowering people to make healthy choices is a key piece of that. Giving them the information that they need to make their own healthy decisions. I mean, you know, with our ring study, for example, that we're participating in, you know, people are really looking at their sleep and their energy levels throughout the day. We've provided them with the tool to be able to look at that. And that's really important, is helping people make healthy decisions. Once we get that information out there and help them employ it, then we'll start to see healthier human beings come out of it. I think, you know, a lot of times in the military, we like to think of members as, you know, soldiers, Marines, airmen. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're all human beings underneath, and we need to be taking care of that human element so that somebody can be at their best in whatever role of life they're currently engaged in. And so when I think of resilience, I think of it as the ability to take on stress and thrive through it and come out as positive as possible. I know there's, you know, a variety of different things that can happen in life, different intensities, but resilience is about being able to have that internal ability to thrive through it. And the way that you get there is by being as healthy as possible in all of those different domains, and also assessing yourself in terms of being competent, capable, and able to take on a challenge. So those are the three things that I think are really key. You know, being healthy physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually will then give you the ability to be resilient and bounce back after hitting hard times, and also help you be able to make an assessment on how well you feel like you're doing in life.
Yeah.
And that's what we aim to do with human performance, is enable that in everyone in our wing.
We talk about that a lot, right? You can't necessarily always control what happens to you, but what you can control is how you respond to it and how equipped you are to respond to it.
Yep.
And I think that's what we're after here, right? So,
yes, sir.
Thanks. That's good. Any thoughts, Chief? Just so we're excited.
Yeah, definitely.
We had a meeting last week with AATC, and as part of the Strategic Action Plan C with General Webb, we had a conversation, and so he kind of gave us a notional thumbs up to progress to the next step. That doesn't mean that it's by any stretch a done deal. We still have some things to go through, but we now have a way forward in trying to formalize what we're trying to do here with this new squadron concept. And one thing I would just point out, human performance isn't anything new to the Air Force, right? There's career fields that have been focused on this for quite a while. We know special warfare, our partner wing, just right over at Chapman Annex, heavily focused and invested in human performance. And then, oh, by the way, aviation has been after this for a while. A good example is the 19th Air Force with the CRAFT program and UPT 2.5 that's been looking at human performance and how they can create stronger, better aviators, right? So this is just a new twist in that we're looking at the conventional force a little bit more here in the 37 Training Wing, whether it's military training instructors, it's defenders, it's instructors, whatever the case may be. I think that's where it gets a little bit new and it gets a little bit exciting. And the other side is, well, if we learn some lessons from our permit party, boy, last I checked, 93% of the United States Air Force comes through right here.
Yep.
Maybe we can apply some of those lessons learned as we're processing and we're training our trainees, whether it's diet, whether it's sleep, whether it's physical fitness. Boy, I think those three things are all pretty important to Air Force basic military training. Maybe we can impart some of those, some of that research and some of that data and those key performance indicators we're going to be collecting data on to our trainees as well. So
that's the direction it's moving in.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I like about this effort with the director, and specifically what you're doing, man, is in the Air Force we talk all the time about the 4 pillars of comprehensive airman fitness. And this is actually a deliberate effort for us to focus on them, operationalize them, and actually have meaning within an airman's life. And not just meaning, but impact. So it's really us doing what we say we're going to do and bringing this to the airmen. That's what I really like about this, is that we are truly putting our money where our mouth is, we're putting our words to action, and we're trying to help airmen out. And that's the real benefit. I think.
You got it.
Helping the airmen out.
It's having an impact, an actual outcome. And Dr. Dhillon has put together some great information, and one thing she talks about is the logic model. And I know you didn't come up with the logic model, but the logic model takes everything and finally aligns it to outcomes, because that's what we care about, is outcomes. And so far, everything we've done is not necessarily tied to outcomes. We think we're doing what we're doing is working, but we need to be able to get the data, and we need to see the end results to the extent that we want. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're after. Well, thanks for that conversation. We're going to talk about a couple other things. We got a busy week coming up here, so and some major events going on. Today is the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. So Hispanic Heritage Month runs 15 September through 15 October. We're excited to celebrate that. Obviously, like we have Hispanic airmen all over our Air Force. We certainly do here in the 37 Training Wing. But some special ties, Joint Base San Antonio in the San Antonio area, obviously, very, very fitting. And then Inter-American Air Forces Academy, which partners, which is a cadre that is primarily Hispanic and Latino airmen that teach in Spanish, technical vocational training, and professional military education. So we got ties in our wing all over the place, and so we just we look forward to celebrating that with our Hispanic airmen, and with everybody else for that matter.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, everybody loves to celebrate those types of things, and so we look forward to doing that and being a part of that as the month goes on here. So that's great. We also have We Care Day coming up on Friday. We
Yep.
Care Day, I think we've talked about that quite a bit. I think we talked about it last week a little bit too. So that is, we talk about resilience. We can't talk about resilience without mental resilience. And when you talk about that, We Care Day is really kind of focused on that. It's all about good vibes and sending positive messages to our force as they come in, and
Yeah.
so this started a couple years ago, and it spread from just Lackland to now Lackland, Fort St. Antonio, and Randolph. And so you'll see members of the 37th Training Wing, 502nd Air Base Wing, 59th Medical Wing, all lining the front gates at Luke East Gate and Valley High Gate with signs that are just saying, "Hey, you are cared for. Hey, you are important. Hey, you are special."
Mhm.
And it's really kind of unique and different. And I've never seen anything like that until I got here. But now that I am, I'm really excited about it. So.
And September being Suicide Awareness and Prevention
Yes.
Month, you know, that's why this is important. You know, a lot of people, when they're in their darkest moments, just need to know that somebody actually cares about them. And, you know, this is just one small effort that we can put out there to show people that we care.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I look forward to that on Friday and getting out
Definitely.
and being a part of that. We also recognize National POW and MIA Recognition Day, which is also on Friday. Friday's a big day, a lot going on Friday.
Yep.
So of course, as we always do, and we think about those that have served, those that did not come back, those that are still unaccounted for, and those that gave the ultimate sacrifice in the spirit of our nation and freedom and liberty. And so we recognize that, and we will have events as the weeks throughout that day for sure. And just wanted to say that we were thinking about that and targeting that. I haven't seen a list of the activities that are going on, but we will certainly get them out as the day goes on. Air Force's birthday is on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Happy 74th birthday,
74th.
United States Air Force. The greatest Air Force the world has ever known or ever will know.
Unfortunately, the pandemic didn't allow us to have an Air Force birthday banquet this year. But, you know, it's still, we need to take some time out to recognize 74 years of air power is kind of a big deal.
Air dominance.
Air dominance, superiority, definitely.
Complete and total superiority. So.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do to help bring in the Air Force's 74th birthday? We're going to have a drill down.
We're going to have a drill down, yeah.
37 training group for the first time in over a year,
Yeah,
at
18.
least maybe 18 months, I'll
Yeah.
say, is back on target with their drill down. And our black ropes, our military training leaders and students that are student leaders will be coordinating a drill down event for all airmen in training, all technical training airmen that are in not only the 37th Training Wing, but also have participation from outside the 37th Training Wing. I believe the 59th Training Group
Yes, sir. 59th.
from Fort Sam Houston is also participating. Should be some good friendly rivalry there. We're looking out. It's at the Finkston Reception Center on Saturday morning at 0900. Looking forward to going out and seeing that event. There'll be some food trucks there, I think, Chief.
Yeah, 4 food trucks will be out there. Thanks for AFES for partnering with us and getting them out. Yeah, it should be a really good event. And not only are we going to have the drill down, but we're going to have a very small little demonstration with one of our other technical training venues here, our military working dogs. So military working dog demonstration will be going on as well.
I believe we are the executive agent for all military working dogs.
I think
if,
we might
if I'm
know
not
a thing.
mistaken,
Yeah.
for both dogs and the handlers.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
so we will be doing some demonstrations out there. So for those that are interested, go ahead. Please come out, join us, watch the drill down, watch the military working dog demonstration. We look forward to seeing you out there at the Finkston Reception Center early Saturday morning.
Yes.
We'll be there. Now, finally, I just wanted to put a continual plug in for Warhawk Solutions. Warhawk Solutions is the one way that if you have feedback, you have a comment, you want to get something to pretty much anybody in our leadership team, all the way from the squadron up to the wing. If you want me to see something short order, or you want the command chief to see something, you can, and you want to do it anonymously, or you can leave your contact information. You can get on Warhawk Solutions. I think we'll end up putting a QR code so anybody that's interested can get to the website. But we continually push that, and I just want to let everybody know that as those come in, we do review them. We review them a lot of times real time, depending on what it is. If you want to put something, what I can tell you is we've also created and made it a two-way mechanism. So as we have questions that come in, we will post frequently asked, we will post responses, especially if we've seen a trend of the same types of questions that are coming in. And so we try and do that. Now, obviously, if there's something that's sensitive in nature or personal, or there's some kind of privacy issues that are involved, we won't be able to post that. But we will make sure that the issue is addressed in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through a conversation or something else. We'll make sure that that happens. So I just wanted to put a plug out there for that. And so, as always, we've got Krista DeAndrea, our public affairs officer, behind the camera. Brittany is usually here, but Krista's given her a little bit of a break. So we look forward to the rest of the week, and we're actually bridging the gap. We didn't really mention bridging the gap.
No, sir, we didn't. So you want me to touch on it?
Yes,
a little bit?
please.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
do.
Captain Frollo from Basic Military Training and Senior Master Kelly Jackson, they really took the lead in this conference we're putting on, which is called Bridging the Gap, which is meant to create a formal feedback loop and mechanism between the Air Force Recruiting Service, Basic Military Training, and all of the technical training groups across the 2nd Air Force. So right now we have about 90 visitors from across the 2nd Air Force here to, one, talk about expectations, two, talk about how we can work better together to create the airmen we need for the operational Air Force. And so far it's going really, really well. We're getting a lot of conversations, a lot of feedback, and I have a feeling we may have started something here, boss. I think this is going to be an annual event.
I hope so.
Maybe a biannual event.
So, I mean, in this morning's conversation, it was definitely a very productive.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of note writing,
Yes.
a lot of information sharing that people that were in the, leaders that were in the training pipeline enterprise didn't know about the other parts of the enterprise that have significant impacts on their part. And so, lo and behold, here we are bridging the gap between the training pipelines. So, anyway, thanks to the command chief. That was we had talked about it, but he took ideas and turned them into action, and that's what success, and that's what 37 Training Wing is all about. So, at any rate, that concludes Freeform Friday, episode 9, season 2. Thanks for being here, Katie. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it very much.
Yes,
and with that, we are out, and we will just say, Warhawks Train to Win.